Simon & Schuster Audio presents an Inner Traditions audiobook, Ending Unnecessary Suffering: How to Create a Powerful, Complete, and Peaceful Life, by Peter Ralston. Read by Paige. Preamble. Stop putting your hand in boiling water. It's not news to any of us that our experience often includes various forms of suffering. From time to time, we suffer physical pain. Yet, for most of us, mental and emotional suffering actually dominates our lives far more than the simple pain of stubbing a toe. Unknown to pretty much everyone, however, is that this domain of suffering is unnecessary. This form of unnecessary suffering is pretty much unique to humans. We worry, long for, fear, despair, desire, feel less than, are dissatisfied, get depressed, feel flawed, and on and on. Ever experienced any of this domain of distress? These and many more are based solely on concepts, on figments of mind. It seems like they are just necessary aspects of life, but they aren't. This may seem far-fetched because we live inside of this conceptual reality as if it is an absolute truth, but it's not. To get a better handle on how much suffering we create solely through conceptualizing, notice rabbits don't experience this form of suffering. They have no idea that there could be more to life, or that it's possible to have any other experience than what they're having. Notice they don't suffer much of what we suffer. Because of our automatic and natural arrogance that humans are so much better than all the lower creatures, we overlook a significant flaw in the makeup of our own experience. These simpler creatures don't worry or fret like we do, or fear the future, or crave anything not available. They don't imagine that they are somehow flawed or less than they should be. Have you ever seen a three-legged dog? They don't seem to have any disturbance at all because of it. Notice or imagine the difference between their experience and yours, and the degree of suffering they don't seem to have, simply because they don't have the complex conceptual ability that, for us, tends to run amok. Consider this contrast. Probably from time to time you have come close to a simple and present experience of simply being in this moment. I suspect you enjoyed that experience. So why devote so much time and effort to the plethora of activities that create so much unnecessary suffering? Obviously, because it doesn't seem to be in your hands. But this audiobook changes all that and helps put you in the driver's seat. In order to do that, however, you'll need to understand how your mind works so you can free yourself from the automatic programming and habits that create the suffering. For this communication to make a difference, you need to experience that all these forms of distress are something you are doing and not imposed upon you against your will. This perspective is not the norm. Almost everyone thinks suffering is imposed upon them and not something they're generating. But once you experience what's true in this matter, you can stop doing what causes suffering, and it won't occur. Sound too good to be true? It is possible to eliminate most of what we suffer. The reason we don't is twofold. One reason is ignorance. Almost no one has been introduced to this possibility, nor do we grasp how our own minds create our suffering. Another reason, beyond our ignorance, we have automatic drives we take for granted that press us into mental, emotional activities that cause suffering, but we don't connect the dots. I sometimes use an analogy that may not be the best, but it makes the point. Through an impulse created by our greed, if we reach for a diamond resting on the bottom of a bucket of boiling water, we will experience a lot of pain. But as long as we don't connect the pain with our actions, we will continue to stick our hand into boiling water. This might seem a bit obscure, but the point is, we are actually doing stuff that creates our suffering. We don't have to do it, but not doing it requires that we become aware of what we are doing, and that we are doing it. It isn't at all impossible, but it does require seriously challenging overlooked assumptions and ignorance. At this point, you might wonder what
Sample complete. Ready to continue?